Wealthy people do three things, man. The reason why people think wealthy people or people with money are sinister is because that's what you kind of taught in the hood. So many black people are in this position. Y'all don't even know it's a game. There's a game that's being played. It wasn't white people do it, wasn't black people, it was always wealthy people do this. So many black people are in this position. He said something to me, he said, man, y'all playing the wrong game. And so in my mind, like I'm frustrated, like, bro, like don't make me whoop your ass in here right now. Like, he's like, no. He's like, listen, bro, I don't mean no harm, no disrespect. But y'all, like, why? So I guess he's like perplexed by this whole dynamic of all of these black men in here. And I'm like, man, what are you talking about? This ain't no game, like this real. And so he says something, he said, that's the problem. Y'all don't even know it's a game. And so when he told me that, I'm like it's something about when you mad and you in the moment, but like something, when it makes sense, it hits you like a ton of bricks. So I'm like, what? He was like, man, listen, man, there's a game that's being played and you're playing a game that you can't win. There was nobody in the street that I knew at 16 that won. Everybody I knew had either been to prison, been shot, got killed, their father, like everybody suffered the same fate. So my rebuttal to him is this: well, if it's such of a game and you know the rules, why are you in here with me? He says, I'm in here, $2.8 million embezzlement. I paid $800,000 restitution. I kept $2 million. Have you ever seen $2 million? So one thing about prison and in jail, you can show your paperwork. Like, you can lie all you want, but your paperwork tells me. So I said, let me see your paperwork then. So in New Orleans, I had a red band. So a red band means attempt murder, armed robbery, kidnapping, carjacking, violent offense. He has on a red and white band at the time. The red and white band means you're in federal custody. And it's crazy because in prison or in jail, like, if you get a federal band, that's like a hierarchy. It's like, you know something that we don't know, you next level, right? So he showed me his paperwork and it's right there in black and white. And immediately he got my attention. Because the red and white man makes me respect you at a different level at 16, but then when I see it in your paperwork, I had never seen $2.8 million written down nowhere, right? So that changes my idea, like, damn. So tell me, how do I do what you do? He was like, nah, it's not even about that. So he tells me the first three things was, he said, listen, man, wealthy people do three things, man. They stop trading time for money. They make their money work for them, and they give as much value to people as they can. There is a shift, and there's the exposure part. So like just coming up in the streets, you only see the game from the lowest level. And you look at everybody else in part admiration and part like jealousy. Because you see it and you're like, damn, I'll never get there, right? And so the only way that I think I can get that is through sports or hustling. That's it, that's the only, or rapping. Those are the only three options that you have. And so you make a decision on which way you want to go, right? And so you look at it from like, damn. And so I'm at the time like, man, I can't rap. Damn sure I can't play sports. So hustling is what I got. You limit yourself and nobody comes along and teaches you anything different. You know, we got a little deeper into that. He said, the reason why you give people so much value is because if you give them so much value, they'll never leave you and they'll always be there for you, and you will never need for anything as long as you give value to people. Every conversation with him about money and transition was always wealthy people do. It wasn't white people do, it wasn't black people, it was always wealthy people do this. Right. Wealthy people do this. So he says, wealthy people, first they get into stocks, then they start a business, and then they get real estate. So when people ask me, how did I get into stocks? It's because I followed that rule. I was like, first, if he would have said real estate, business, I would have been the real estate trap. my rest of my time in prison, I wanted to be that. I wanted to be a part of that wealthy conversation. So in prison, it's easy to get, I took my time, I researched the Warren Buffetts and the Peter Lynch's, and I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, that shit was like Chinese to me. This is a foreign language. And so what happened to me was it started reminding me of being in the streets, everything about it. And I heard this term one time that said, the real gangsters are on Wall Street. The real gangsters are in the government. And I was like, damn. What happens is, and just let me say this right quick, the reason why people think wealthy people or people with money are sinister is because that's what you kind of taught in the hood. Like you kind of taught like, the people who really have money, like they did some wicked shit to get it. They did some backstabbing, cutthroat shit to get it, and you'll never get that. that same mentality now happens on a lower level, the hustling, the dope dealing. So now you think like, yo, I gotta just do sinister shit to get money. And then the people who are successful in the drug game, they're looking at the people at the top like, damn, I wanna be that. But the people at the bottom will never get a taste of that. And so now we just kind of living off ambition. And so now the people who are in the middle who working, they're like, oh, them people with money, they all crooks. Because being at the bottom teaches you to envy people at the top. It just happens. It's something that brews down there, right? But it's kind of when you cook food, right, the base goes to the bottom. And so most people live in that bottom, never knowing how they'll get up there.